Welcome to Teen Vehicle Reviews. I'm Tate.
I'm Trayton.
And here today we have a 2005 Toyota Celica GT. Welcome to the interior of this Toyota Celica. We're going to start off with the dash real quick. We have the odometer at 100,000, pretty much. And then the speedometer goes up to 140. And we have the RPMs. And this car, automatic transmission, if you push it, it'll hit red line easy. And it has this overdrive mode, which I can click on and off with the push of the button. Sorry, I'm going through the steering wheel. You can see by that little overdrive on and off. The overdrive basically makes it a much sportier car than it is in the, I guess what you would call the basic mode. And I guess onto the center area.
As you can see, the stereo is replaced with a aftermarket Kenwood, but for the most part, the center console is very subtle. It feels plasticky, but I mean the metallic paint on it gives it a little nicer feeling just looking at it. Everything is surprisingly firm and clicky, maybe a little sloshy, but it feels more than it is in a way. I mean, they've done a really good job of Toyota with the Celica with making it feel like more than it is. And I mean, the interior shows that. It doesn't feel overdone or cheap.
And they also have these little, this is my coin collection area. It's pretty much it is an ashtray, but no smoking in this car. And then we have this compartment, which is kind of similar. I find it similar to the Nissan 350Z. They have, like, I don't know, this little compartment area. Put sunglasses, all that mess in here. And then you follow down the automatic transmission. And you have the very unusually placed.
Yes, probably so it feels more like a sports car.
Right, I guess. The window up and down things. I can't think of the name. But sorry about that. The window tint is not the greatest, but that will be repaired pretty soon. We have 2 cup holders, pretty standard. A full glove box. It has lots of cords and food. But the glove box is not too big. Oh, car moves. But the glove box is not that big. And we have the back seat, which is useless.
Abysmally small. I mean,
there's no legroom. Excuse the camera equipment.
You can try to sit in it, but if you're playing music, you're not going to have ears at the end of it because of the subwoofer.
Yes,
and I mean, ride comfort.
There's not a lot of legroom.
It's an afterthought, mostly.
And we have the glove box, which is also quite standard. 4 AC vents. The AC it
works.
Yes. It is extremely nice. Heater is extremely nice as well.
Like Texas.
Yes. E-brake.
You can do sweet drifts in a front-wheel drive car.
Of course. And that's about it for the interior. Toyota also did this steering wheel. It's quite nice. The power steering you don't really feel at all, but the steering wheel has a great feel to it. I've really come to enjoy it, driving it for the past year. And I feel like they've done a pretty solid job at making their attempt at a sports car. I know the inner components don't really show for a sports car, but the interior is really comfortable, and it also has like that sporty feel to it.
The leather is pretty decent. I mean, it's what you would expect.
Here, I'll do like a seat view. It has black leather.
Not perforated.
Right.
Imitation racing seats. But
yes.
Really comfortable.
Yeah, they're extremely comfortable.
And there's actually decent leather trim around the door and everything.
Yes.
This is stitched. This is soft. So, I mean, overall, it's more than you would expect, and it's not overdone or trashy.
Have to agree. This car exterior has a little bit of aftermarket parts. It has drag wheels with red painted calipers, and the wheels are Plasti Dip as well in a gunmetal gray coloration. And the emblems are also painted a matte black. Sorry, engine noise. And it has new headlights as well as new taillights, so there's little oxidation within those. We can go into the engine bay now. Here, I'll let Trayton take over the filming because I can't.
It's a V4, roughly 140 horsepower stock, but with the cold air intake, probably makes about 400. More seriously, it probably makes about 150 if you factor in how old it is. 150, 160. How light it is makes it feel a little sportier than it is because it handles pretty decently.
It also has the aftermarket strut bar, which gives it like much more firm feel when driving and turning, as well as lowering springs. I believe it's 1.5 inches, and it gives it, like Trayton said, the much more sportier feel. And then we venture to the back. We have an aftermarket exhaust system, as well as the Rice sticker, because Rice Life, it's autonomy medallion exhaust. And Trayton's gonna give you a little rev clip. Dude, Rice Life.
Wow.
And yeah, that's, like I said, somewhat sporty, not fast, but a nice exhaust tone. And Rice Life, dude. Okay, now we're gonna do a little driving test. And if we're gonna just drive around kind of streets, possibly freeway, so we can do a 0 to 60 for you legally, not in Mexico. And
no, we actually live in Mexico.
oh yeah, my bad, we do live in Mexico. I forgot. Silly me.
Cancun.
Yes. And here's the thing about the exhaust on this car. I'm going probably average driver speed right now, and it's not very loud. It's really quiet. And that's why I like this system, because it, like, I don't have an annoying exhaust drone. I don't want that. And I don't know, I feel like a sporty car, loud exhaust equals cop magnet. And
Yeah.
that's not really a good, that doesn't sound good in my opinion. But like I said, when it needs to be loud, hold on, let's kick it into sport mode. It can be loud. And the brakes are a little annoying. I don't know what, if that's a car issue. I'd imagine it's a problem with my brake pads. But I took them in, past owner, it's still the brake pads from the past owner. And the guy was like, oh, the brakes are fine, they're just squeaky. And I'm like, it's so annoying. Whenever I get replaced, I'm gonna, bump. Oh, I'm gonna make sure to get some more silent brake pads. And I guess, Trayton, what's your opinion on the road noise as someone who doesn't drive in this car every day?
I mean, compared to other cars, if you buy a new sedan, I mean, it's probably right about what you expect. I mean, it's not especially loud, but it's not especially quiet. Although the ride is actually decently smooth. I mean, it is on aftermarket shocks, but I mean, over bumps and stuff, it's going to be bumpy, but it feels pretty smooth for the most part.
And the thing about lowering springs, your car will scrape. Like, no matter what, if you get lowering springs, every bump you hit, you will scrape, and it will hurt you on the inside just a little bit.
Just never look at your fender. Just don't look at it.
Yeah, it's
don't look down.
It's an interesting, especially for a first car. I'm used to driving big SUVs, big trucks, and then I get a tiny little car, and I hit bumps, and you hear a scrape. It surprises everyone in this car. They're like, oh, what's that noise?
Like, just the tuner life on it.
Yes, that, like I said, Rice Life. But yeah, that would have to be the only complaint I have about like driving. I don't like scraping because I like to keep a car like clean.
Totally new.
But yeah, one more complaint actually. That's not my only complaint. every time I get up to like freeway speeds, there's like a whistle noise, and I feel like I've seen that on other forums as well, that like people are complaining about this high-pitched whistling noise, and if I were to go on a road trip in this car, I would die, because it is so...
Not a road trip car, yeah.
Yeah, it is so high-pitched, and just after a while, your ears are like, please save me. But yeah, it's definitely not a road trip car either, because there is absolutely no room.
That's true, yeah.
I have aftermarket subwoofers, which does not help my case.
Helps the sound.
It helps the sound. Yes, it shakes the car violently. But it's a hatchback, so it has a solid amount of trunk room. But it's just like, I don't know, if you were traveling, this is not the car for you. This is not the car for a family. It's a great first car. I mean, it gets about 30 miles per gallon. I'm filling up gas every 2 weeks, and it only costs like $20 to fill up. Like, what's better than that? I would much rather do that than pay $50 in like an SUV every time I fill up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the rest of it is really, really nice. I mean,
Let's do a speed test.
all right. Like, there's little power steering, so it feels extremely sporty, and yeah, it's a nice driving car. And we can do a little speed test here real quick.
Just a bit.
Engage in sport mode.
Sport mode.
All right, we're gonna start at 30 and see where we go from there. All right, 3, 2, 1, flooring it.
I mean, for 140 horsepower, it does pull a little bit. You can feel it.
That was 65 in Mexico. So, like I said, we live in Mexico. That's just a normal thing here.
Yep.
And yeah, 0 to 60, it's
7, 8.
all right. Yeah, I would say around like 7.
7's probably about right.
Hey, like I said, that doesn't really fit into a sporty car category. There's a tractor driving on the road, and it just hit a curb. That was quite weird. But yeah, the 0 to 60 is not fast. Like, I got beat by a Jeep Wrangler in a race in Mexico, and that was a very sad day.
Jeep Wrangler.
I think I got permanently kicked out of any tuner gang that I was not even in. But yeah, it's not fast, but it has a nice sound to it, and it's a comfortable ride. So if that's what you're kind of looking for, I would totally recommend this car.
Yeah, it's a pretty niche car, but I mean, for the market, for people who are looking for it, I mean, it doesn't cost much. Great gas mileage. It's easy to mod. Decent ride overall. I mean, it's a decent car if you don't need to carry many people or go very far.
For sure. And going on like a point that Trayton said, the cost of it, it's a Toyota. You're not going to pay anything to maintain it.
Yeah.
Rather than the Mercedes that's right next to me, you're going to pay
probably $2,000 a year on that E-Class.
Yes. But you're a Toyota, it's a Japanese car. They're going to everything's going to be cheap. Like, I already did the first oil change, super easy. It took me maybe like 15 minutes. And the cost of the car itself is not a lot at all. Like, go on Craigslist and find one for maybe $3,000 that's in awesome condition. I mean, in my eyes, that's extremely cheap for a good car. And maybe price reflects the value of the car, or like the owner's value of the car. I guess what I'm trying to say is, you really gotta like this car to enjoy it. Unless you're like someone who's just needing a reliable daily, yes. If you're trying to like get into some super fast street racing or all that mess, no, that's probably
maybe the
not.
GTS. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe the GTS. I've heard that's a lot more sportier, especially with the manual. Wish I got that, but maybe try the GTS out. I hope to do a review on those one day, just so I can kind of compare it to what this is.
Yeah.
Yes, but the GT, it's definitely not a sports car to compare to, say, it's probably cousin the Supra. Like,
Supra, now that'd be fun.
yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
If this thing was, I wish they did the same thing they did with the Supra in this car. That would make you love this car forever. Because I don't know, I just feel like Toyota kind of did it wrong to put in bumps.
It's the same one from earlier.
Yeah. Toyota kind of did it wrong to not put a great engine in this car. The 1ZZ, you're like, woohoo, Camry engine. But yeah, I mean, solid, decent car. I don't know what that was. There was a kid standing in the middle of the road.
Yeah, this is a 45 mile an hour 3-lane road, and that kid is just standing in the middle of it, and he came up and dabbed on us, I guess. Too bad there was a barrier.
Yeah. Well, I think that's about it for our driving test.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did quotations, but
It was driving.
yeah, I was driving. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope we can get more, or we do have more cars in line to review.
We've got some stuff coming up, 2012?
2013 Ford Expedition EL. That's gonna be fun. It's quite different from a little sports car.
2014 Kia Sportage, 2012 Kia Optima SXT GDI, that's the 280 horsepower one.
We also have a 2010 Dodge Ram Laramie Edition, 1500. That's gonna be fun because that truck is also lifted. I'm excited to show you all that.
And later in the future, hopefully I'll get an LS400. That'll be an incredible review.
That is going to be Trayton's vehicle. Drift?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we can do a drift in Mexico real quick. Wow. Pulls.
Front wheel drive.
Yes. Front wheel drive, not a drift car. But yeah, I hope you guys kind
Texas
of
speak.
Yeah, Texas language. Kind of enjoyed our very first review, and hopefully this marks the beginning of a very successful and enjoyable YouTube channel. I hope we can produce content that
people want to see.
Yeah, people come back to enjoy. Because like, I want to do something different with our account. I feel as if most vehicle reviews, or some of them, aren't so fun. They're just they're all statistics, and you're like, okay, this is a 20-minute video, but it's not enjoyable at all. I'm just seeing everything, just how it works, and you're like, yay, woohoo, but there's nothing extremely fun about the video, and I hope we can kind of incorporate that into ours and make it enjoyable for y'all. And yeah, I guess till next time, guys, signing off.